Hello world, I want it to be as serious and important as I can in this video because this is as serious as important matter as it can be. I just paid $90 for one more night in this very efficiency motel room. And then I paid more money than that for motel rooms somewhere else just so I'd have a place to stay Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night. And it's got to that point where you need to know, and I have hope, I think some people do, that my father has had a cycle of bad behavior before and after he went to WVU medicine. Some things I think can be attributed to his quadruple open heart bypass, but you must know, my father got a contract to paint the mural called Welch in the 1920s, which is about the Great Depression. And he used that money to acquire a 6,000 square foot home, which he lived in it by himself. And that happened in 2008. It wasn't long after that I was interning full time for free for 10 months. When I got promoted in 366 days, in 2018 and 2019, I came out to Denver. I was paying $1,200 a month for a studio efficiency apartment. My father has had a cycle of bad behavior. It was in poor taste. It was probably legal, but I have heard many times from my Uncle Mike, who has passed, the way my father got that house was not the right way. I'll just put it that way. And it shows my father has had a cycle of bad behavior for a very long time. That will probably be important, and it is. It already is important. It'll probably be more important in the future because I know what he's doing today with the child is not right. It is why I fled the state of West Virginia. After just getting there to escape homelessness, I was left in the house he abandoned with no water. The same 6,000 square foot house, because Tom Acosta abandoned that house in April of 2022. There was no hope for me in West Virginia. I seriously did fear for everyone's personal safety. Most of all, his. I was afraid things were going to come to an even worse outcome than me having to defeat homelessness 1,400 miles away after also enduring an interstate kidnapping. Nobody called me from my family on my birthday. Not one single person. That's a problem. And I have hope that maybe things are starting to happen the way they should. Maybe I won't be homeless anymore, but I'm now in a situation where I have to pay for hotel rooms. And when you work minimum wage, it just really cuts into what you can do to defeat homelessness when you have to worry about where you're staying tonight. Okay? My father has been a homeowner pretty much since the 1970s. There were a few years after he got divorced, he rented homes, but he has never been homeless. When he says he's been homeless before, what he was referring to was living with his sister Maddie and her husband Samuel Fain, and he lived in a finished basement, complete with a walk-in shower, air conditioning, heat. It had a PC in the basement, television. He had access to an outside door. All he had to do was go upstairs and have 3 square meals a day, and if he didn't like what they were having, his sister Donna lived in the backyard. He was not homeless. Tom Acosta cannot imagine being homeless. He has always had other adults around him to make sure he's okay. I didn't have that opportunity anymore. On Thanksgiving night, 2016, when he physically expelled me from his home in freezing rain, and I had to walk to Welch to get to anywhere I could to survive. This is not okay, and it's not okay that his work is everywhere. You don't have to like us, me or my father, to agree that is correct information. Somebody who does that alone does not have a good reflection on the towns and the places that have his artwork still today. Please send to a friend. I want to say these few things too. One, my father used to say he could tell the difference between 5 minutes and daylight. It passes, it's been about 15 minutes, and I bet you can tell the difference. Another thing, it's unfortunate. I didn't get a call, I didn't get a text from anybody in my family. Nobody that I'm blood related to reached out. But some people did. To the people that did, thank you. Last thing I want to say is people said, thousands of people all of my life, said my dad was very talented. And yes, he had a God-given scale of paint, right? But you know who else was very talented? Who was the best? For a long time, she was my mother. My mother is unfortunate, doesn't have strength anymore. But I remember when she did. I remember when she used to fight with my dad and insist that the boys needed extracurriculars. The boys needed scouts. The boys needed swim classes and soccer. My mother was a nurse. And she was the best. Nobody ever told me my mother was very talented, but she kept thousands and thousands of people alive. She did that the best she could for my Uncle Samuel Fain years after the defendant's family moved on, and she was the plaintiff. Uncle Sam was the leader of our family when we got divorced. He came to divorce court representing McDowell County to make sure that divorce attorney didn't get out of line. And he helped tie my tie, and then we went to a piano recital. I want you to know, it's unfortunate that my mother is not the best anymore. She decided one time to be the worst. When she stole ICU crash cart meds, and I got a toxicology report, and that's the reason I moved from North Carolina to West Virginia, because it was the best way to be the most safe with my dad and away from my mother. I was 25 when that happened. It's unfortunate that people who are the best become the worst. The best of this family is still right here. It's been about another 5 minutes, and I'm just going to say this too. So one thing I'm working on right now is, I secured this hotel room for one night. I've got 3 more nights somewhere else. Then after that, I've already called a friend and said, can I stay with you? And he said, yeah, Nate, you can. There's someone here, someone who's been there recently, that's homeless, that just doesn't have any concept of right and wrong. And, you know, that happens in the homeless population. People weren't raised right. I was. Until 1997 or 96, I had the best. Okay, I had the best. Wanda Urbanska wrote a book. She is the director of philanthropy at NC State University. But back in the 80s, before I was born, she wrote a book called Moving to a Small Town. And my parents were the darling young couple that were placed in an optimal set of conditions where things could not be better for them to start a family and live in a home that they acquired. We had the best. They just couldn't keep it going. long enough for my brother to get enough of the best. I probably didn't get enough of the best either, but I got more than my mother did, more than my father did. And my brother Drew needs prayers. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Henry Ford said that. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I'm not sure where this one came from, but one is only unsinkable for as long as he believes in the beauty of his dreams, and that's something I've really come to learn. If you'll notice, I don't normally include anymore my Cash App, my Venmo, my PayPal. I'm not doing these videos to become famous. I'm doing them because it's the right thing to do. If you do, though, feel so inclined to help, now would be a good time. I am working. That's why I don't include this very much more in my videos. But I'm trying to really nail the best place to live as I end homelessness. I want to end up in the best set of optimal conditions, like my parents did.